For my Week 3 NFL picks and predictions. You're watching the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment. Hello, look at the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, NFL Week 3 picks and predictions. You know what time it is. Now, last week, I only went 9-7, and that was about average for like ESPN experts and CBS Sports experts and Bleacher Report idiots. You know, it was about average, but I have to do better than that. And what happened is, here was the problem, okay? It was not a great week for the creative ones, okay? Because if you would have picked who everyone else was picking, the consensus, last week you would have went 11-5, okay? Now the first week you would have went 9-7. I went 10-6 because I like to go away from the consensus. Week 1, it helped me. I did better than the consensus. But week 2, the consensus won, okay? The consensus went 11-5, and if you tried to be creative, you lost some games. But this week, I expect things to go back to normal, and those that like to be creative, those that like to think outside of the box will be rewarded this week. Let's update you real quick on the SFE Picks Challenge. This is the ESPN group of which I own that has over 500 people. In first place right now is Jow 133 with 25 total points. He went 12-4 last week. And then we have a bunch of people, actually a couple people. In second, we have the Dark Knight, who was in first place last week, and we also have Cup of Joe 91. They are tied for second place. We have 3 people tied for fourth place. We have a bunch of people tied for seventh place. So that's the way it's looking right now. And right now I'm about, I think, 100th, but only one game away from being 70, only one game from being, 30, and then it's very, very small margin of error right there. So I expect to start climbing the ranks and solidifying myself in the elite of my own damn group. So with that said, let's get into the pick, shall we? That's what you're here for. That's what I'm here to talk about. So let's start with the Thursday night football game. The Houston Texans versus the New England Patriots at New England. Now, if you didn't see my video about the Houston Texans that I uploaded and recorded on Tuesday, I suggest you go do so now. Because basically what I said is, man, the Houston Texans are looking really good, and they're a team that is looking like a potential AFC contender. That's what I said in that video. Now they're going against the New England Patriots, who will be starting Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Now, I liked the Jacoby Brissett pick when the Patriots made that pick. I give them an A- for that pick. However, he is not a guy that I thought was ready to start right out of the get-go, right after the bat. And this is going to be a tough matchup. And with the way the Texans are playing right now, with the way their defense and their pass rush is right now, John Simon and Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless, they will be merciless coming after Jacoby Brissett. And whenever he gets pressured, he's not quite as good. He makes some mistakes, and also, he's not going to be able to, I don't project that he's going to be able to make decisions quick enough to beat this pass rush. And if you're going to beat up pass rush like the Houston Texans, you have to be quick with your decisions, be quick with your throws, be on point, be ready to go, like a Jimmy Garoppolo would, like a Tom Brady would. That's how you beat them. I'm not sure Jacoby Brissett can do that yet. So I like the Texans to upset the Patriots in New England 23-20. We move on to the Sunday games. The Arizona Cardinals and the Buffalo Bills. The Cardinals are back. Good, because they're my Super Bowl pick, and I do not want to get this Super Bowl pick incorrect. So it's nice to see that they're dominating once again, and I have them dominating once again. As they go to Buffalo, Buffalo is struggling. Maybe they can keep it close for maybe a quarter or two, but eventually things will be where they need to be, and the Cardinals will pretty much run all over the Buffalo Bills. We move on to the Denver Broncos at the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I had the Broncos going 8-8 headed into the season, and ultimately that looks like a pretty foolish prediction, but I wasn't the only one, so at least I can say that. Broncos look good, man. Their defense still looks good. The defense still looks on point, tough, physical, tough to beat. And man, I don't see how the Bengals can win this football game. AJ Green is going to get slowed down by Chris Harris and Aqib Talib and Bradley Roby. And yes, the Broncos lost DeMarcus Ware, but they still have Shaquille Barrett and Shane Ray ready to step into that rotation. I don't see how the Bengals are going to put up enough points here, and then the Broncos will definitely put up enough. So I like the Broncos winning here, and I really don't know why people are picking the Bengals. And I like the Bengals. I think the Bengals are still going to go 10-6 or 11-5, but I just don't see how they're going to be able to put up enough points. Tyler Boyd isn't ready yet. We saw the fumble last week. Brandon LaFell just isn't very good. I don't see how they're going to put up points on this Broncos defense. I like the Broncos to win this game. We move on to the Cleveland Browns at the Miami Dolphins. And man, Cleveland, y'all got issues, cuz 5 different starting quarterbacks over the last 5 regular season games for the Cleveland Browns. Josh McCown, Robert Griffin III, Austin Davis, Johnny Manziel, and now Cody Kessler, presumably, assuming that Harley Whitehurst doesn't start on Sunday. Now look, the Browns stink, okay? And I don't care that they're up 20-0 to the Baltimore Ravens. It doesn't matter. Like, trust me, I'm a damn Tennessee Titans fan. We went 3-13 last year. Bro, we beat the Bucs 42-14 week 1. We still stunk, okay? You can look good a week, but you still stink. You lost 29-10 to the Philadelphia Eagles. Y'all stink. And now you're starting Cody Kessler at quarterback. Miami, I still think that they're like a 5-11 team. They're not very good, but they're better than you. They have a Devontae Parker. They have a Jarvis Landry. They have a Ryan Tannehill. They have a, semblance of an offensive line and a defense right now. You don't. You have an offensive line, but that's about it. I like the Dolphins to win this game. And by the way, if they blow y'all out, man, y'all are in serious trouble. We move on to the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. And man, a lot of people are expecting the Packers to win this game easily. And I say, man, hold the phone. The Lions have been upsetting the Packers the past couple of years more than usual. Okay, they've been splitting the past couple of years. And one of those was in Green Bay. I think last year they beat the Packers in Green Bay. Okay, and then also the Lions probably should have beat the Packers in Detroit, but we saw the Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary. Now, it was a W, and we'll count that as a W, but keep that in mind. The spread for this game is 7.5 for the Packers, favored to win this game. That's way too high. That's way too high for me. But, you know what? That said, I'm going to pick the Packers to win this game just because, they're at home, and they lost last week, so I like the rebound factor. But man, again, I think this is going to be close, and it would not shock me in the least if the Lions win this game. But if the Lions do win this game, RELAX, do not start going crazy saying, oh, the Packers stink, because I'm already seeing these stupid comments. Shut up. You sound like a moron. The Packers are fine, okay? They're just losing games. They lost games last year. Who cares? They're still going to make the playoffs. The question is, when they make the playoffs, how far will they go? And, of course, to me, I don't think they're going to go far anyway, so of course they're going to lose games in the regular season. I don't care. They're exactly who I thought they'd be, so let's move on to the Oakland Raiders at the Tennessee Titans. And I'm a Titans fan, and I really wanted to pick the Titans to win this game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. But the argument here is that the Titans are at home. And because the Titans are at home, they're going to find a way to upset. That's the argument people are making. As a Titans fan, though, I'm raising my hand. I'm like, hey, we stink at home, right? Titans aren't good at home. Titans didn't win a home game in 2014, and they only won one last year. They usually play better on the road. It's very inexplicable, but it's true, and it's pretty unfortunate as well for the damn fans here in Nashville. So with that in mind, I don't care that this game is in Tennessee because they don't win in Tennessee. So, Oakland, they play well on the road. They went to New Orleans and they won. They lost last week. They're going to want to rebound and get back on the right track. They're going to wake up. They're going to be ready for this game, and I think they're going to go to Tennessee and they're going to win. Then we move on to the Minnesota Vikings at the Carolina Panthers. And right now, to me, the Carolina Panthers are just a better team than the Minnesota Vikings. I get it. The Vikings started out 2-0. They're 2-0. But look, Adrian Peterson is injured, and I can't believe some of you disrespectful Minnesota Vikings fans, it doesn't matter because Adrian Peterson hasn't been playing well over the first 2 games. So if you calculate this, you can see that, we can get better production out of Jerry McKinnon because Jerry McKinnon got 4.8 yards per carry last season, so you can put him in the lineup and he'll be better than Adrian Peterson. Y'all are so disrespectful to that man. Are you serious right now? Adrian Peterson, the reason he's been struggling is because he's freaking Adrian Peterson, because teams have been stacking the box against this guy, forcing you to throw the football. Now they're going to ease off. Now they're going to force, Sam Bradford to make the decisions. They're going to have some safeties back there. They're going to have some double covers for Stephon Diggs. This is not a good thing that Adrian Peterson got injured. Are y'all nuts? You're going to see the value in Adrian Peterson in this week, in weeks moving forward, as Sam Bradford throws the ball to the Carolina Panthers on multiple occasions today, I believe. I like the Panthers to win this game. I don't think it's going to be very close, and I think you will start to realize the value that Adrian Peterson brought to your football team. We move on to the Washington Redskins at the New York Giants. And I really wanted to pick the Redskins to win this game, just for this reason. Not because they're good, although I still like the talent on the roster. Just because of this, I don't believe that in this magical land called the NFC East, that a team could go 3-0, another team could go 0-3. I don't believe such a thing could happen in the NFC East. I feel like there's always a state of stable equilibrium where teams tend to stay in the middle. Not all the way over here, not all the way over here, just in the middle. Be decent teams, 7-9, 8-8. They tend to be here rather than being 2-14 and 14-2. They tend to be in the middle. So with that in mind, I don't know. I feel like the Redskins could come out in this game, feel desperate. We need to win this football game, come out and actually win this game, but I just couldn't pick it. The Giants, they're just playing better football right now. So let me just use what I'm seeing and honestly what my head is telling me, and that's that the Giants win this game. But again, if the Redskins can just come together and say, man, we need to win this football game, Josh Norman slows down Odell Beckham, and then they're going to need Bashaud Breeland to play better because he's going to have to slow down Sterling Shepard. You may shut down Odell Beckham, fine. Sterling Shepard's going to get his. All right, so you have to watch out for him as well. Same goes for Larry Donnell as a red zone target. So I like the Giants to win this game, but I like the Redskins to cover. So just keep that in mind. We move on to the Baltimore Ravens at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and yet again, I'm faced with an issue, and this has been constant throughout these Week 3 picks. Can I trust this 0-2 team to figure it out, okay? Now, with the Jaguars, we have to keep this in mind. After last week's debacle, and it was horrible. I mean, you just can't lose like that to San Diego, especially was it in Jacksonville? No, it was in San Diego, but still, you just can't lose like that. But with that in mind, what happened this season? The Jaguars went up against the Green Bay Packers, and they were competitive. Hell, if Blake Bortles leads them down the end of the field at the end of the game, they win that game. So you could say the Jaguars played well week 1. I think you could agree with that. So they played well week 1. They didn't play well week 2. I think they're going to play well week 3. Okay, and I still think they're not a playoff team. We can see that clearly, but the talent's there. They're okay. In Baltimore, they don't have, the elite defenders like they had in the past that would force Blake Bortles to throw interceptions, that would force Allen Robinson to not get his. I think Allen Robinson will show up again today. He's going to have a big game. Blake Bortles will have a big game, and the Jaguars win in Jacksonville. If not, boy, y'all are in trouble. We move on to the LA Rams that go to Tampa Bay and face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And for me, I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game easily. The Bucs, they went to Arizona and they got embarrassed, but I expect Jameis Winston to bounce back in this game. In Tampa Bay, LA going all the way across the nation to Tampa Bay. They're not going to be able to handle that. And even though the LA Rams won last week, they put up 9 points. Week 1, they put up 0. They're averaging 4.5 points per game. I can't trust this team. I can't trust this offense. They may have got their 1 win. I won't be surprised if that's their only win this entire season. I like Tampa Bay to win and Jameis Winston to bounce back. We move on to the San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. And, the Seahawks have been struggling this season, and unfortunately, I think the struggles may continue. However, to a certain extent, I think today the Seahawks will do better, or this given day, the Seahawks will do better offensively. They'll put up some more points. But then you're going to be surprised because I think this 49er team, this 49er offense, be quiet, but it may actually be a good offense. They're putting up points. They scored 28 points on the LA Rams. They scored 27 points against the Carolina Panthers. Now, I think they're going to put up points on the Seattle team, but at the end of the day, I trust Russell Wilson to pull out this game for me. He didn't do it for me last week. But this week, I expect and trust him to do that now as he gets a little bit healthier and all of that. So I like the Seahawks to win this game, but I think it's going to be a close game. We move on to the San Diego Chargers at the Indianapolis Colts. And yet again, I'm faced with the dilemma. Can I trust this 0-2 team? So I did trust the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I didn't trust the Washington Redskins. Can I trust the Indianapolis Colts to break their 0-2 record? I can't, okay? Right now, the defense stinks, and it really, really, really stinks. And, Andrew Luck, I think, will bounce back in this game to a certain extent. But, man, this Chargers passing defense is actually pretty freaking good. Remember, they have Jason Verrett. They have Brandon Flowers. They have Casey Hayward, who they signed from the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are missing him, and he's playing well for this San Diego Chargers defense. So they're going to slow down the Colts passing offense just enough to win this game. To me, I like the Chargers to win this game on the road. And we move on to the New York Jets at the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think this is a very intriguing pick, a pick that people are skipping over and looking over way too much. Just think about it right now. I know you look at, the title. You look at Jets at Chiefs, and you say, okay, at Chiefs, I'm picking the Chiefs. But I'm saying slow down. Who's playing better right now? Is it the Chiefs or is it the Jets? So the Chiefs lost extensively in week 1. Week 2, they lost to the Houston Texans. The Jets, they played close and lost to the Bengals, and they blew out, for the most part, the Buffalo Bills. I think the Jets are a better team right now. And the Chiefs' defense isn't that dominant right now. I mean, it's still pretty good, but it's not that dominant. So I like the Jets to put up more points, and I like the Chiefs to put up points on the Jets' defense. I like the Jets to win this game. So don't just go over this game thing. No, Chiefs is going to win. It's in Kansas City. Chiefs defense isn't that great right now, and the Jets, they're playing pretty well, so I like the Jets to win this game. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Eagles, I've started off 2-0. I didn't see that coming. I thought they'd start out 1-1. I had them beating Cleveland, but I had them losing last week to Chicago. So I'm picking against them again, okay? I just think that right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are rolling. I think they may be the best team in the NFL right now, as of this moment. Yeah, I think so. And I think that they could easily go to Philadelphia and put up points, because at the end of the day, you're going to see why Antonio Brown is the best wide receiver in the NFL. He's going to absolutely burn Jalen Mills and Leotis McKelvin if he's playing, and whoever else, Nolan Carroll, whoever else the Eagles decide to trot out there at cornerback, they will not be able to stop Antonio Brown. I like the Steelers to win this game, but Carson Wentz will play well yet again. You know what's dumb about Carson Wentz and the Carson Wentz, skeptics right now? They keep saying, okay, well, he's faced the Browns and he's faced the Bears. Just wait till he goes up against the Steelers. First of all, the Bears are actually a pretty good defense, okay? I don't know why the Bears are getting thrown in this conversation. Second of all, the Steelers defense is not bad, but it's not great either. So don't be surprised if yet again Carson Wentz plays well. But if he does, you're going to hear people say yet again, well, he didn't play anyone good. They're NFL defenses. The Browns defense stinks. Okay, fine. The Bears are an NFL defense. They're not great. They're not horrible. The Steelers are an NFL defense. They're not great. They're not horrible. It's an NFL defense. If he plays well, good. You should be impressed. You will be impressed. We move on to the Chicago Bears at the Dallas Cowboys, and the Chicago Bears. Man, they're letting me down. I had them going 8-8 heading into the season, and they're letting me down. I think it's 0-3. I think Dallas will do enough to win this game. However, I expect another disappointing game from Ezekiel Elliott. And this is assuming the Bears can get some of their defensive players healthy, like Eddie Goldman, who suffered an injury in the last game. Also, Adrian Amos, who suffered a concussion. They need to get those guys healthy. But when healthy, this Bears front seven is actually pretty dangerous. They slow down the Eagles' run game. And I think Ezekiel Elliott may find another tough game here. He may rattle off a big run that may save his stat line. But I'm telling you, I expect a lot of 3, 2, 1 yard runs from Ezekiel Elliott. But it'll be Dak Prescott and Dez Bryant that'll bring home this W for the Dallas Cowboys. So just expect that. But at the end of the day, it will be the Dallas Cowboys. I don't trust Brian Hoyer, and neither should you. And we move on to the Monday Night Football game. Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. Falcons got a tough road win last week. I don't see them getting 2 tough road wins in a row. I mean, that's literally it. That's my one go-to thing here. The Falcons, they're okay. They're not horrible, but they just don't seem like a team that can win 2 straight on the road. That's my premise. And the Saints, at the same time, they're not bad. Some people think that they're bad. They're not bad. They're back at home. They're going to put up their fair share amount of points today, and I think they're going to win. So I also went 6-10 last week against the spread. Not great at all, but I always say I'm not great against the spread. That's just a disclaimer. This is the first year I'm actually doing it. I have to get used to this. I think what I have to learn how to do is just swallow points. A lot of times I don't like to do that, but it seems like I need to do that more often, so I'm going to do that in the future. Let's move on to my guarantees of the week. Now, last week we had a bad week for my guarantees, as the Cleveland Browns were the only team that showed up for me. The Colts, the Raiders, they didn't do so last week, but I think this week we will do better. We need to do better. So with that said, let's start with the New Orleans Saints -3. Again, I like the Saints to win this game. The 3 points I don't think is too tough to swallow. I'm learning to swallow these points, so bring on the points. Let's swallow them. I like the New Orleans Saints -3. Carolina Panthers -7. Yet again, a home team points. I'm swallowing them. Panthers, to me, I think they're going to win this game pretty easily. And even if they're only up by, let's say, 4 or 3 heading into the fourth quarter, I can see the Panthers having like a long drive, Cam Newton getting a rushing touchdown and then ending up winning by 10 or more. So I like the Panthers -7. We also move on to the Steelers -3.5. So this is a road team. I'm swallowing points again, though. I like the Steelers to win this game pretty easily. They're going to put up a significant amount of points on the Pittsburgh Steelers. They should win this game pretty easily. And again, I like the Detroit Lions to finish close, +7.5. I love that line. It's a divisional matchup, NFC North. Packers aren't scoring many points this season. Lions defense is pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. I like the Lions to cover this spread. So these are my 4 guarantees of the week, and I feel good about these 4. Hopefully, they will be good for you and me. So there you go. Those are my NFL Week 3 picks and predictions. I feel good about this week. And I feel like this is the week I finally begin to make a move, and, really have a nice, solid week and build some momentum for the future. So we shall see. What are your picks and predictions? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and, most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.